And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. If this is the first time you're watching us, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and check out BWTM Sports Group. Check it out on Facebook. The link is in the description box. Okay, so first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who has been commenting on the analysis of Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz, and Parker versus Joshua. I've tried to be as fair as I can. Before I continue, I have to pay tribute to Scott Westgrave, who passed away sadly. Steffi Bull, he won his fight. Fortunately, got knocked down. But I'm saying, he was hurt, and he collapsed and he passed away at the hospital in Sheffield. No, I think he fought with Doncaster, I believe. I think he passed away in Sheffield. So my condolences are with Scott Westgrave and his family, and I pray that they are given the strength in a very difficult time. Just shows you how dangerous the sport of boxing is, and why I am advocate for a fighter making as much money as they can as possible, because you never know if you yourself could be on the end of something like this happening to you. So I'm all for fighters getting as much money as possible. It's not my business how much money they make. I just hope they're making as much money as possible, and they put their lives on the line each and every time, and sometimes for little or no thanks whatsoever from keyboard warriors. So it's a hard sport, and once again, it just brings to light the dangers that every man and every woman takes, and young person takes when they get in the ring to box. So again, rest in peace, Scott Westgrave. Scott was on our channel. We covered him in his bout when we were in Sheffield the night that I think Sam Sheedy fought. Liam Cameron defended his title that night. Fortunately, Sam didn't win the title that night. Sam lost his title, and Liam went on to win the title. Of course, also, it's not been great for myself. I've heard bad news tonight as well that a member of my family has passed away as well. So it's not been a good day, particularly. But we move on. So the title is Deontay Wilder, is he under the influence? Now, everything I'm going to say to you tonight, past my chest, everything I'm going to say to you tonight is legit. Everything I'm going to say to you is real. Everything I'm going to say to you, you can go and check up yourself afterwards. This is not a make it up as I go along. It's legit. First of all, shout out to the Boxing Voice. Those guys at the Boxing Voice are doing a great job, and more media outlets need to be doing what they are doing and what we try to do at BWTM, which is give fighters not just interviews, but a little bit more, see a bit more about what's going on and get to know more about a fighter. It's quite clear if you leave it to HBO Showtime to get you to know more about a fighter. If they're not on a huge pay-per-view card, you're not going to know much about them. So it's great what they've done with Deontay Wilder. They've sat down, they've talked to him, and you've really got to know who Deontay Wilder is, a bit more about who Deontay Wilder is, and it's great. The video I am referring to, for those people who want to know, the video I am referring to is the Patreon video that was done by the Boxing Voice. You can check it out yourselves, the Patreon video. So when you're finished listening to me, what I've got to say, you can go out and you can check what Deontay Wilder says, word for word. Not what I say, is what he says. Not me reading in between the lines, exactly what he says. So I wanted to get to know more about the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. And I went on, I clicked on, I wanted to listen to what Deontay had to say for himself, because I really want to know more about him. I mean, from an outsider looking in, from a journalistic point of view, I've always seen him as the most intimidating heavyweight in the world, the most fearsome heavyweight in the world, and dangerous with that right hand. And I said to people, when I did the show with Wilder versus Ortiz, I think it was last night, I said, I don't care about the rest of it. We all know he's got his vulnerabilities. What I know is that right hand, when it lands, it puts people to sleep. And it is the most dangerous right hand in the heavyweight division, bar none. He's the most dangerous, most destructive puncher in world boxing today, Deontay Wilder. Without a shadow of doubt, I don't compare Joshua's punching power with Wilder, because when I say he knocks people out, he's not if he's not coming stopping the fight. Generally, he's knocking guys out. The Lajkovic fight is one where he hit the deck. Lajkovic hit the deck and he was twitching on the floor. It was just, you know, very nervous moments watching that fight. And then the way he took care of Stavern was terrible. I mean, the image of Stavern with his knees back and his head almost through the ropes, it was something, you know, I guess people like to see that in boxing, and see a guy taking care of business. That's why people like Mike Tyson so much, because he went in there and he did the business. Okay, yeah, we know about Deontay Wilder. He can't block a jab. Yeah, Deontay Wilder, when he throws punches, he leaves himself off balance. But it's style in it. That's his style. That's what he does. And he compared himself almost to like when you've got Street Fighter and you've got all these different characters. You're picking a character, you pick a character, and each character does something special. And for Deontay Wilder, it's that big right hand. He's got long arms, he's quick, he's got a big right hand. So that's what he does. That's his strength. So he's aware of it. And, you know, he's well aware of his weaknesses as well. And listening to the interview, he said, well, look, he used a Street Fighter comparison in terms of styles and picking a fighter, and who, you know, and why people have to keep hating the fact that he doesn't do all these things correctly. I said it yesterday. I don't care about all those other things. As long as he lands that right hand and he takes you out of there and he's doing what he's doing at the moment, fine. Leave him to it. So that was my statement about Deontay Wilder. Now, read the title. You read the title. Read the title tonight. It says Deontay Wilder, is he under the influence? Now, while I listened to Deontay Wilder in this very interesting interview, I wanted to know more about Deontay Wilder, you know, and one of the first things he was asked, because he made a statement about he wanted, along the lines of he wanted a body on his record. That started to disturb me as it is. I heard him say about Stavern, but he wanted a body on his record. And he said the bronze bomber, you know, that he basically separated the two between the bronze bomber and Deontay Wilder, like they were two separate people. But here's the thing. It wasn't that made the alarm bells ring for me. It's when he made the next statement. He went, you know, in that voice he does, there are so many secrets in the ring. I'm like, is this guy really serious, or is he just trying to just play mind games? So I listened to him a little further. He went, you know, there are many secrets in the ring, in this ring, so many secrets, and he wouldn't let out what he was going to talk about. He was itching to say something, but he didn't. He's licking his lips. And he talked about Luis Ortiz and his Cuban style. Now, I don't know if you can remember, some of you, the big, I think it was a big Cuban that was in the heavyweight division that had beaten both Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe as amateurs. And he was a big, big threat in the heavyweight division. And I remember Riddick Bowe having to pick up a piece of glass and chuck at him. It was Jorge Gonzalez, Luis Jorge Gonzalez, or something like that. Big guy, really intimidating. He had a little piece of hair at the head, back of his head, I think. But his bald head, he had a little bit of hair on his head. But he was a real big looking 6'5", rock solid guy. He was going knocking everybody out. and he was like the man that everyone was talking about, the most dangerous man in heavyweight division. Remember that guy? Because I thought about that guy like before I did this. Yeah, Jorge Luis Gonzalez. You remember him? Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember that dude. In fact, after I've done this, I want to go back and watch that fight with Riddick Bowe. It's interesting. I don't know if Jorge Luis Gonzalez, he was the man that was meant to go and beat Bowe. He was meant to beat Lewis. He was going to take on Tyson. The media really built Jorge Luis Gonzalez up. They really did. He didn't look that great, but they built him up. Anyway, Bowe took care of business and he beat the crap out of him. That's a side note, but I just want to see how that compares with now Wilder fighting Ortiz, who's got a similar sort of build-up. And he said it's going to be interesting about this Cuban style, how it works with a guy who wants to take his head off. He says, I fought Luis Ortiz so many times in my mind. And as I remember him saying it now in my mind, I'm like, okay, so he's meditating, he's visualizing it. You hear that? And he went, yeah, there's so many secrets in this sport of boxing, in this ring. There's so many secrets. So I wonder what these secrets are. So I'm listening more. He goes, when I was in that ring against Stavern, yeah, he talks about, you know, where to hit a man, maybe the back of his head, where to hit him. I went, okay. So he's admitting that he went out of his way to hit somebody behind the back of the head. Okay, so he will do what he has to do to win a fight. Oh, there's so many. I'm like, all right. Then he goes, yeah, and I visualize myself fighting Luis Ortiz all the time. I visualize it. Like, okay, that sounds cool. And then he goes, when I fought Stavern, it wasn't me. Okay. He goes, it wasn't me. Well, who the hell was it then? He goes, yeah, did you see at the beginning of the fight, my eyes started rolling in the back of my head? Huh? He says, yeah, it wasn't me. It was somebody else. I saw... Like when I was beating my chest, it wasn't me who was beating my chest. I was like in a third person. I was like in a trance. I could see myself doing what was going on against Stavern. It wasn't me. And when I stood in the ring and I beat my chest, that wasn't me. I'm like, what's this guy going on? So he's opening it. He says, go back and look at the tape. My eyes rolled in the back of my head. Some Undertaker shit he was talking. I'm like, what? And he's just talking about it quite casually. Now, this is the man, he says, I can switch like that. He says, I don't need to get mad. I can switch like that. You know, I meditate and I do, and I'm thinking, this guy now, he's now talking about, you know, demon possession almost, or being possessed by some form of spirit. Because he says, he's not even in control of what he's doing in the ring. He says, I feel as if something takes control of me. I'm like, what? So, I mean, I'm not making this shit up. This is what this guy is saying. And I'm surprised that no one else in the media has picked this up. And, you know, when I saw the Stavern fight, when Stavern was coming to the ring and he got in, I mean, I was saying to people afterwards, it all looked wrong, looked completely wrong. And now he's talked about hitting people on the back of the head. He's talked about him not being himself. And he says, oh, listen. And the last time I heard somebody talk about secrets in the ring, forget Wilder for a second. The last time I heard people talk about secrets in the ring was James Ellie Bashir. And we all know how that ended up with Klitschko, with stuff under the canvas and, you know, the sponge in the canvas and all that stuff. But Deontay Wilder has openly admitted these things he's saying. So it's up to you, boxing fans, what you think. Is it possible that he's talking like meditating and being in another state? And the thing is, I don't think that Wilder's talking shite for 1 second, because he's talking about the mind. He's the language he's speaking is not the language of a man talking shite. You have to understand, when a man's talking like that, he's talking proper knowledge. Those who are awake, not many people are awake in the world. Those who are awake will understand what Wilder was saying. He talks about his mind. He says, when I say something and I put it out in the universe, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Because I put it in you. He says, your mind is so powerful. You listen to what that guy is saying. You can dismiss him all you want, but I can't do that. Me personally, I can't do that because I'm not in that sort of state. I can't pretend my eyes are shut when my eyes are open. So for those who understand and are listening in and get the message, go back and watch the tape and go back and listen to it and listen to what it's the Patreon video, because there's two of them out there. The Patreon video, again, shout out, I think it was Nesta who did the interview. Absolutely fantastic. And Nesta says, you know what, I pray. And then Deontay says, well, I meditate. And Nesta saying that he prays. So very interesting stuff. You need to go and listen to that stuff. You need to. And then I'm going to go back and watch the Wilder fight with Stavern again, the second fight, as short as it was. But I'm going to look at those things again and see if I can see anything in that as well. But there you have it, boxing fans. I don't think he's deluded at all. Here we go. Thank you very much. Says, do they do drug test after a fight? Hold on. I don't know. Well, I don't know. This is what people are saying here. Ortiz is looking in much better shape than his previous fights. Like I discussed that yesterday. I'm not going to go back into all that again. Wilder is massively overrated. That is true. Dogger is training with Wilder. He boxes like a novice, just has great power. Exactly. Just that pull punch had a Caesar after the punch he did. But that shot is, as Naz put it, the get out of jail free. It's not a get out of jail free card. His power is not a get out of free jail card. I disagree with that. That is what he is. He's a puncher. There's no get out of jail free card. He's in there and he is, by all means, the most devastating puncher in heavyweight boxing. So I disagree there. A get out of jail card is one of the guys who's boxing. He's struggling in the fight. He pulls out a big punch from somewhere. That's different. Wilder, you know he's going for the knockout. That is what he does. That is him. So it's not away from type. So I don't agree. I think you're vastly underrating or taking away what the man does. That's his strength. And his strength is his punching power and his big punch. And if he goes out there and he lays out Luis Ortiz, you know, if he doesn't, he doesn't. But Luis Ortiz is going to have to take something. I don't think Luis is just going to walk out there and hit Wilder. It's not going to happen. Witherspoon destroyed Gonzalez too. Wilder sounds like he's being introduced to MK Ultra. Interesting, because he never talked like that before he fought Stavern the first time. I can imagine Wilder's trigger words be Anthony Joshua. Wilder been reading too many David Icke books. Well, he might be, but that's not a bad thing. Wilder just talk shite. Don't agree with that. In my personal opinion, I don't. Do they drug test a fighter straight after the fight? If they don't, then the cheaters will juice up if given half a chance. And then Kenny, Mr. Slick says, I remember this interview. I watched it as soon as it came out. He is 100% took out possession. Thank you. That's exactly what I thought. MK Ultra is a program being used since the Second World War. There you go. Hollywood, in that part of the world, absolutely. Let's see. If you think he's talking shit, then fine. Don't worry about it. That was a great interview he did with Naz. Absolutely, Adam Scott. While it's not on the juice, sold his soul to keep Sophia. Interesting. Others, like AJ, take the natural route and make some appointments with the devil. Interesting. Wilder needs to get to his mega pay-per-view with Joshua. Mayweather and McGregor have been doing MK Ultra for years. It's nothing new. Voodoo and Juju in sport, which are very popular. Yep, I've heard it many times. he will be getting himself pumped up, American term, trance-like state, bearing in mind he's going into battle. Wilder's first test after 30-odd fights. I tell you, if Wilder blows this Ortiz away, I want to hear what people got to say. I want to hear people saying that Ortiz was 48 years old. Please, keep it there. You say he's 48 years old, stick with that. You say he's the first test for Wilder, stick with that. If Wilder blows him away or knocks Ortiz out, I don't want to hear ever say he's an old man. If he's a test, he's a test. If he's an old man, he's an old man. But make your minds up, all right? Make your minds up. Because, you know, you can't say at one point, oh, he's the best heavyweight, the biggest test for Wilder. Wilder blows him away and you say, oh, yeah, but he's an old man. And he didn't really fight anybody, Ortiz. And, you know, he didn't prove it against it. No, don't. So if Wilder wins this fight, give the man the credit he deserves. Wilder hasn't faced anyone live. When he does this Saturday, he's going to get rinsed. He's just not good enough. Okay. Bomb Squad is in the Church of Satan and the Illuminati. LOL. Mart. LOL. You think Joshua ain't part of the club? Stop it. He makes too many statements. Ortiz will capitalize. One card deck. Yeah. Oh, great. Honest question, Ingram. What percentage of boxing fans do you feel truly far-minded for seek to be? What? Okay, that's it. What percentage of boxing fans do you feel are truly fair-minded or seek to be? I think a lot of boxing fans are passionate. I understand that. A lot of boxing fans are dismissive. I understand that. A lot of boxing fans have to learn the hard way, you know, like I have done in the past and continue to do at times. Boxing fans, I'm not sure if they take into consideration at times a guy's development and improvement. And there are so many fighters in history that have had various flaws, you know, a lot over the years, but they've been still successful. They've been champions that have had flaws. Vladimir Klitschko had a dodgy chin for years, but he fixed that by having a good defense. What Wilder doesn't have in skill level, he makes up for in punching power. This guy was a bronze medalist, right? Guy's a bronze medalist. So at the Olympics, he's not that bad a fighter. I take your point, Ingram. It does remind me a lot of the basic Buddhist principles and such. I'm familiar with the way you describe it. It made me chuckle too. Yes, and this is a thing that separates sports athletes. A lot of people are dismissive of the study of the mind on NLP and how strong it is, and the mind is a tremendously strong place. And I'll tell you now, at elite level, maybe 10% is physical, but 90% is mental. Because for me, or even 25% physical, 75% mental. And I think that's something that a lot of sports fans don't really take into consideration. You look at the top sportsmen and sportswomen, their mental game is on point. Whether it be Mayweather, on point. Listen to McGregor, on point. You know, Lennox Lewis, when he was fighting, always mental, in the zone, on point. Do you mean? These guys mentally are on point. All these guys, and some of the guys probably don't talk about as much, but their mental strength is on point. You know what I mean? You look at George Groves in that last fight he had against Eubank. I told you, I saw something in Groves' eyes, on point. He's checked in. And that's the difference between a guy performing on the night and not performing on the night. Wilder all day and every day. No. Can you get interview with Malik Scott ahead of his fight? He also has a good perspective of things. Well, I'm going to break some news to you on BWTM exclusively. Shall I break some news for you? Would you like some breaking news? Would you really like some breaking news? No, I like to break news for you guys. Like breaking bread almost. Shall I break some news to you? What do you think? Shall I break some news? Shall I break some news? I'll break some news. All right. Well, I'll tell you in a minute. Of course, Joshua is part of the club. He used to join the Millionaires Club. All them trips to Dubai. Come on, man. Please wake up. Got an agenda. Ortiz 5-2 to win. That's nice. Pulling numbers. Pulling numbers out of his ass. Not pulling numbers out my ass. I'm not pulling numbers out my ass. This is something I've been at the top of sport in terms of sports coaching for many years, from youth sport right through to doing coaching my country or on my island. So I know what it takes. I've been around some of the top sportsmen in the world, whether it be in boxing or cricket or in football, the top sportsmen in the world. And I've actually gone and studied myself. So I'm not just talking out my ass or pulling out figures. This is stuff that is studied over and over and over again. If you want to be ignorant to it, that's up to you. And I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. Go do some reading, my friend. I feel you're trying harder than most, especially on this side of the pond. To be fair to Wilder, I've lived in England before, in American, and it's pretty disappointing. Traditionally, irrationally anti-Wilder. No, the thing is, it's not about being pro or anti. I think it's more the case of I'm not cheap. I'm not just following what the media tells me, because I am media as well, and it's me. It's my job to be as balanced as possible. I try to be as balanced as possible and not get into the emotional state of things. And the less emotional I am, and the more I see it, try and be as balanced as possible. Luis Ortiz is a good fighter, but I've said it from day one, and I'll keep on saying it. We'll see how good Ortiz is when he gets hit on the chin by somebody who wants to take his head off. But you know, this is not just fighting any puncher. He's fighting the biggest puncher in world boxing. You know, Ortiz is going to have to get through this, get through Wilder. And, yeah, Wilder makes mistakes, but he's very fast. And he's got a good jab, underrated jab, and he's got a devastating right hand. And the other thing is, it's those slow-ass feet of Luis Ortiz. Peter Fury said himself that he thinks Wild Dog stopped Ortiz inside 6 rounds. Let's see what's going here. I didn't realize Wilder was such a deep thinker. I was impressed by how he acknowledged the importance of mindset. Very important. I'm very skeptical, but I've observed for myself from putting negative energy into the universe can boomerang on a person. I respect nature and the patterns it presents to be totally dismissive. Okay. Ingram, all this talk of dropping a body is words of a blood sacrifice. Then Wilder will rise up in the ranks and be pushed more into the mainstream. It's all very uncomfortable for me. I don't think Wilder will land. I think Luis Ortiz has got slow feet. I applaud your effort to be objective. Wish it was shared more over there. And you all know that I, for example, am not anti-Joshua or. Oh, sorry. I meant to say I respect nature too much to be totally dismissive. Well, those who've got a clue understand what I'm talking about. The law of consequence and a law of reciprocity, the law of attraction. But I can go a little deeper into that, how some of that is flawed. But still, what you put in is what you get out. It's almost like what you put into the ground. You put a seed in the ground for tomatoes, you grow tomatoes. You put for potatoes, you grow potatoes. You can't put tomatoes in the ground, a tomato seed in the ground, and expect potatoes to come out. So what you put in is what you're going to get out. So I think that you know, go and check out the video. You can make a decision yourself. But for me, this is more than just Deontay Wilder meditating and doing a little bit of yoga with a guru. I think this is a little more than that. And you know, there's a lot of things that need to take into consideration in this fight. You know, not just two guys getting in the ring and fighting. There's more to boxing than that. And we'll see how Luis Ortiz responds to those things. Now, when Wilder says that he's going to become undisputed champion, you know, I want to dismiss it. I want to dismiss it. And I can tell you now for a fact that I remember myself and Wilder exchanging words regarding his career and how he wasn't fighting. He was only fighting taxi drivers. But he's improved as a fighter. I think he's improved. I say he hadn't, but I think he has improved as a fighter. Ingram came in late. Which video are you referring to? It's the Patreon video done by the Boxing Voice, Nesta, doing a great interview there, doing a great job with Deontay Wilder and the WBC champion of the world, talking about life, personal life, having a dead body in his record, you know, the mental state of boxing, his style, how fans are always saying about he's got a poor style and everything. You know, Wilder also speaks positive and confident. He says, I will, I shall, I know. And that's it. It's all on the YouTube channel on the Boxing Voice. Wilder's speeches aren't going to work getting in the mind of Ortiz. He doesn't understand a word of English. Wilder interview 30 minutes or so. No, oh yes, the breaking news. The breaking news is, get yourselves ready. Get yourselves ready. I know for you haters, you've got more to hate. For you who support BWTM, you're going to love this one. Introducing tomorrow evening, wait for it, the light heavyweight champion of the world, Dimitri Bivol, will be on BWTM Sports tomorrow evening. Oh, aren't you ready for that? Live. How does that sound, people? I'd love to know what you think about that. To have Dimitri Bivol live and exclusive on BWTM Sports tomorrow on here. There you go. The big names keep coming. And, you know, I'm looking forward to talking to Bivol. Of course, recently Yolanda Cortez, who's been on the channel before, was teamed up with some lovely people called the Faith Fighters, and Dimitri Bivol joined there, was at the gym, and he actually uses that gym, and he worked with the young people there. He's got a real soft spot for young people, and the interview is on the channel. Can't wait for Barrera fight. Ask him about water, will do. Does Bivol speak English? He does speak very good English, so I understand. So we'll know tomorrow night. Bivol, yeah. So Bivol, I don't know how you pronounce this. Dimitri Bivol. I'll understand. I will ask him tomorrow how to pronounce his name tomorrow for sure. He will tell me. So Dimitri Bivol, the current light heavyweight champion of the world, in a tough fight against Sullivan Barrera. That's no easy fight. That's a tough fight. But yeah. Why doesn't Wilder fight no one so far? He's fighting Ortiz, who was meant to be the most dangerous man in the heavyweight division. What more do you want? Super series with light heavyweights would be good. Yeah, it would be pretty good. Pretty good. But I kind of think they're sorting themselves out anyway. My boy's fighting Adonis Stevenson in Badu Jack. You've got I don't know what the hell Kovalev's doing, but Bivol's fighting Barrera. Yeah, Bo will be backing his man on Sullivan, of course. Right, so that's it for now. So I hope you've enjoyed the breaking news about Bivol going to be on BWTM Sports. I don't want to wipe out Jack the Ripper. I don't know about that. Bo needs to shut up or put up that hat back on and be quiet. Ortiz is done just like Rigo. So I'm thinking, the man is 48 or 49 years old. Don't believe me again. Go back and listen to the interview with Amir Mansour that we did. Keep up the great work, brother. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed the show, of course. And the news, Dimitri Bivol is going to be on BWTM Sports. Under the influence of what? Well, Chris, you're late to the show, and I'm out of here. Thank you so much. Just rewind the tape. I know what's happening with Kovalev, but like, really? Really? Who's that guy who's fighting? Let's rewind the tape and play it from the start so you can get a whole rundown of what influence Deontay Wilder may or may not be on. This is it from BWTM Sports. We'll be back after the break. We'll be talking football. And we'll be talking Arsenal Football Club. See you soon.